Welcome back to our Sales Leaders Weekly Debrief. Well, in today's episode, what we're going to talk to you about is the real secret behind motivation. How to properly motivate your salespeople, which will in turn help you motivate your sales team. You know, oftentimes we get this question, Mike, where they're talking about they have a struggle with, they have a disengaged employee that, you know, maybe at one point they really had a great performance, their numbers were great, they seem to be really engaged with the team, and now for whatever reason they're just not there. You know, we hear people talk about they acquired a team and it's just not panning out. They don't have the right people. They don't have initiative to go out there and grab business. And I often think about Mike that we had at where we were before, where he was just really disengaged with the business. And you know, prior to you working with him, his sales numbers weren't where they needed to be. You know, the office wasn't performing the way that it needed to be. It wasn't profitable. And he had been working with the organization prior to that for 3 or 4 years already, and just the numbers weren't there. But you went in there and within a short amount of time were able to really understand what his secret to motivation was. And in 1 year's time, he doubled his sales numbers. His profitability was through the roof. He was much happier, much more engaged with the team. And so I think we should, you know, give him a little bit of a insight as to what was the key to that successful turnaround.
On our sales teams, we all have people that follow the process, and they do very well. And then there's the people that aren't. It's the same process. So why was it work for one person, it wouldn't work for another? And it really comes down to the people that follow the process are doing it for the same reasons you are, because you're giving it to them in that reason. And everybody has different categories in their life. It's 3 branches of life, we like to talk about it. And it's head, heart, and spirit. And the first one is to be able to understand the head. And there's two different ways the head can go. One is with security. They have to know that things are coming in a certain direction, coming from a certain direction. They have to feel comfortable with it. And the other is diversity. They're bored with constantly being the same thing over and over again. That diversity is very important to them.
Yeah, I think, you know, the funny thing is we get this, you know, somebody will come to us and say, no matter what I do, they don't want to get out of their comfort zone. They like things to be in one spot all the time. If people mess their desk up, they don't like it. They have to have a routine. And those are those people that really, you know, they need to have that security in their life. And then you've got somebody on the opposite spectrum where, man, they can't stay in one place for 5 minutes. If you have them sit at a desk for 8 hours a day, they're completely bored out of their mind and they're just suffering.
And Mike actually is not a security person. He liked the diversity. Security was boring to him. He wanted to have the diversity of being able to do different things every day, and they were always trying to get him to follow this certain process, and that was kind of painful for him.
And then I think about the heart, you know. So, and this is where a lot of salespeople live in, because most salespeople are they're passionate, they're energetic. And you've got people that live in the heart. They either are living for the desire because they want to be important, they want to be the best in class, they want to be high performance. And then you have the other people that their heart is the relationship. They want to connect with people.
Yeah, and Mike had a little bit of both. Importance to him was about being a part of something and being able to stand out with the rest of the people in that group. And that also kind of turned into relational for him too. You're a person of great importance. We can tell because number hair 42 is almost out of place up there.
Yes.
But Mike had to feel that importance. And prior management had always tried to motivate him through, I guess you'd call it pain. They would take things away from him if he didn't do something. Well, that scared him. That kept him away. He wanted to know what was out in front of him. What pleasure was there for him?
Yeah, I think, you know, that's a key point that you hit on there is in a sales culture, a sales environment. A lot of your salespeople are importance driven, and one of the things that management want to constantly make it about is they want to make it about the management's process, the management's ideas, the management's ways about doing business, and they're literally taking away the importance from the individual that they're trying to motivate. So they're doing the exact opposite of what they're trying to do. They're demotivating them.
Yeah, and then they try and offset that by paying them.
Right.
And they think that the money's important. We all need money. Let's not. We all have to have money. But if money is the most important part of it, then you're never going to be completely satisfied.
Right, it gets old after a while.
It does, yeah. You got to have something more than that. It has to be. You have to buy into the process, and it has to be for your reasons, not somebody else's reasons.
Yeah, and I think, the other thing is with the relationship piece. So, and I know this is how it was for me was knowing what I know now. The last organization that I was with, I'm a big connector. I love to connect with people. And so I remember reaching out to my boss and asking him, hey, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity that you gave me. So let me take you out for dinner. And he automatically thought that I was wanting to ask him for something. I even offered to drive down where he was. He never responded to my email, and he never set up the meeting. And for me, that was a telltale sign that he didn't have any intentions on building a relationship with me. And that, for people that are relational driven, that'll crush them.
He was doing it for thinking it in his terms, not putting himself into your world in order to do that.
And the last final branch that we need to talk about is the spirit. And this is the part that you and I really try to drive home, because most people live in their head and their heart, and they don't actually allow themselves to tap into the spirit. And explain why that's why that's so important.
Well, the head and the heart don't require any discipline. You can automatically go there. To go to the spirit, it actually requires discipline, because there's two different parts of the spirit. One is expansion. It's about growing. It's about learning. And once you've grown and you've learned, then you have the opportunity to share. And that's where true fulfillment in life comes from. And what's one of the things I had to learn about teams is you had to not only teach them and help them grow, but you had to let them share with others, because then they would get their fulfillment out of it, and then they would always wanted to come back for more. That is like dopamine.
Yes,
it's a drug, and fulfillment is incredible. It's an incredible tool for creating emotion and passion.
Yeah, and I know that to be true, because I know I'm a learner. I love to learn. I love to learn new things and tactics and all these kinds of things. And for a while I was learning a lot, but I wasn't getting into the mode of sharing it with other people. And I saw a lot of benefit in learning for myself. But the crazy thing about expansion is it doesn't, or sharing, excuse me, is it doesn't just benefit you, it benefits so many other people. But whatever you expand, whatever you're sharing with other people becomes more deeply ingrained in you, so it becomes more real to you. But I'm curious, do you really think that everybody needs to live in that realm in order for them to be fulfilled?
Not necessarily. It depends upon their personality. Some people are scared to death by that, and it shuts them down if they think they might have to share with others. If they can eventually get to that point, great. But there's other ways that they meet their necessities and their three branches, and you have to be cognizant of the way they do that and play to them. Eventually, that's what you want to come out of them, because that's when they're going to be part of the team. They're going to stay with the team. People join a team because they want to be part of a team, but they leave because of personal reasons. Yeah, because you didn't personally motivate them, or you scared them away, or whatever the deal is. And we often see that within teams, that so many times people are trying to, as you've put it, motivate them. Managers or leaders are trying to motivate their team for their reasons. What's important to me, and that's what I'm going to do to motivate you. And we've learned this not only in the sales process. When we're selling to clients and stuff, we've realized if you want the client to be able to make a decision to purchase, you have to motivate them the way that they're motivated, right? Same thing for sales teams. You have to motivate your salespeople, not what's important to you, but what's important to them. And that's why understanding their three branches is so important. So what is that about? Is that about perception or representation, or is it a little bit of both?
it's definitely both, because representation, as you said, how I fulfill my own need for importance, I can make a decision to find that in different ways. And we've talked about this on, what's your configuration and how do you configure your life. For myself, when I was in the music industry, I thought that the only way for me to get my importance was through that dream, was through that life. And I had to learn to represent importance in a whole different realm. I had to realize that there was other things that I could do to fill my importance. But so many times we get focused on one area in life and we think that's the only ticket. That's why personal growth and development is so important, because you got to broaden your spectrum a little bit. And that's what I had to do.
Part of broadening the spectrum is understanding how people represent sharing too. They perceive sharing as a scary thing, and they're going to shy away from that. You have to change their perception on that and their representation of what it actually is. Is sharing because he's asking me to do it, or is sharing is because it's coming from my heart? And if you can represent it as it's coming from inward instead of outward, that's when they're going to get the true fulfillment. Thank you for joining us for another session of Sales Leaders Weekly Debrief. If you are a sales leader and you're interested in the secrets of motivating people, you can go to our website, inspiredmotivatedleadership.com/3branches, and look for an event coming to your area.
Hey, thanks for stopping over at Inspire Motivated Leadership's YouTube channel. If you like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe right here. And if you want to watch another episode, go ahead and click right here, and we'll see you next time.